Enjoy the fruit.
Very much.
Well, you can learn some, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's
Patagonia, which is the southern part of Texas. It's good opportunity. It's not wrong. It's
I mean, I haven't seen it go. I feel like I'm reading the you're making storage laws. I'm good. Now that I got the detective, it's very nice. I haven't done everything. No.
Fifteen of us and then one women, one day they went.
I mean, it's already dies for the reason because they can't start in the system. But they can't hear us. I mean, we have to make sure that migrants.
But she refers to Shabbat.
Yeah, the sound people there, but.
So.
Right, I can't trust the camera and I don't know the detector.
Couple of women.
That kind of happy, yeah. Well, I mean, somebody tried it. I mean,
I haven't been to do those long internet. On the way there, we stopped. That, we got about it and didn't work. So we put on the side. It's fun. And then I always pay for premium economies, and on the way back, because they changed my flight, I didn't get premium economy. It's just a little extra put in, but yeah, so it was all good. I just been very I'm doing.
No, I haven't. Yeah. That's that, yeah. I don't like the.
Yeah.
I wish there were my people as wonderful stuff. Right around when Trump became president. Now I still wear the keyboard, but I cover the head with this. Jerome, come on in. I can't, I'm not gonna mess with it. It yeah, it is, but I don't want to. So. Okay. So I was.
How'd everybody work on there?
I would have.
You know.
Yeah. What would you have the honor of doing a panel? If you're here and doing your birthday. Yeah, that would be amazing. Thanks. Okay, thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You know,
I'll do that. But then you like the part.
oh, the long time.
But it's okay. Right, because where's the rest of your? Okay, I was. You came out of
Yes. Yes.
You good? Yes. Okay. I just. Why you can't class? All right. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome to our very special Shabbat service, our Shabbat Shell Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us. We have some usual people here and some that don't normally come because they're not usually necessarily in the city of Los Angeles. So it's good to have people from near and far here. I'm Rabbi Daniel Friedman, one of the rabbis here, and I'm joined by myself. I'll be here for everything today, so if anything is wrong, you can complain to my friend over there. I'm just kidding. So we are gonna get started, just warming up with some Hine Matov, how good it is that we are all here together. You can find Hine Matov on page 10 of your Siddur. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 We are going to bring some light into this space, and for that, I'm going to invite Lana Rappaport to come up and have her light the candles. She brings a lot of light into our community every week by helping us to set up our own egg as a part of our sisterhood. And today she's truly my soul help. So I want to honor her with this honor of lighting us in our candles. Candles can be found on page 2. Page 2, yes. Oh, here, let me get you the mic. Do you want to lead us? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav ציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Thank you so much. Shabbat shalom. I now want to invite up Paul and Yvette Jaffe, who are longtime members here, and to please lead us in Kiddush. And I'll invite everyone who is able to please rise. We are on page 5. Oh, oops. Oh, you know what? I actually have to put some juice in here. Who can help me with that? Thank you so much. You haven't done this in a couple years, huh? Oh, that's good, because that would have happened to me. It's a good thing it's white juice, though. There you go. Perfect. Okay, again, we're on page 5, and I'll hold this for you all. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishi ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher etziat mitzrayim Ivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidata mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchalchanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. B'chaim. B'chaim. Thank you so much. I'll put this down. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Thanks for Shabbat shalom. You can all be seated. Wow. So because there are old faces, new faces, some familiar, some haven't seen in a while, I'm thinking a lot about what it means to see each other's faces. And for those, was anyone here on, I think it was my third Shabbat in July at Temple Akiba, the first Shabbat that Rabbi Shapiro and Cantor Lonnie weren't at. Anyone was? Oh, Lana was there. Okay. So then Lana might remember that I talked about this prayer, L'chun Ranana, which is the beginning of Psalm 95. You can find this prayer on page 12 of your Siddur. So this is the very beginning of Psalm 95. And if you look at it in the Hebrew, the second line of the psalm says, Nikadma fanav bitodah. Nikadma fanav bitodah. So kadma or kedem means to sort of go forward in some way. So we will go forward. Fanav is sort of the face. So it's our faces. Bitodah, which means in gratitude. So the translation here is on the third line of this. It says, let us come into God's presence with praise. I like to translate it a little more literally as let let us sort of let our faces go forward in praise. And for me, that gratitude comes about when we look at each other as the way we are right now, the way I get to see your faces. If we were in a full circle, you would all see each other's faces and not just mine. So that's my favorite way to pray. But it doesn't matter because you can still move your head as we sing. And I'm going to bring back a version of this song that I introduced, I think, when I was an intern here. So probably back in 2018. And I hope you'll join me because we're going to bring this back in 2 more weeks when I have my installation here, which I hope you'll join us for as well, 2 weeks from today. This is a Nava Tehillah tune of it, which I really enjoy because it's very, very repetitive. So you really don't have to remember a lot for this. You just have to sort of repeat after me. You'll catch on, I promise. And if you don't, you can catch on in 2 weeks when I also have Cantorlani and Michael Rothbard's help. So again, we're on page 12, top of the page. And okay, I don't have, it's okay. All right, so there's a little bit of a beat to this. L'chunerana la Adonai, Naria Vetzor Yishenu. Okay, repeat after me. L'chunerana la Adonai, Naria Vetzor Yishenu. Next verse. Nikadma fana betoda, Bizmi wrote Narialo. Now you. Nikadma fana betoda, Bizmi wrote Narialo. Now you join me at the top. Lechuneranana la Adonai, Naria letzur yishenu. Lechuneranana la Adonai, Naria letzur yishenu. Next verse. Nikadma fana betoda, Bizmi wrote Narialo. Nikadma fana betoda, Bizmi wrote Narialo. One more time. L'chuneranana la Adonai, Naria letzur yishenu. L'chuneranana la Adonai, Naria letzur yishenu. Nikadma fana betoda, Bizmi wrote Narialo. Nikadma fana betoda, Bizmi wrote Narialo. All right, beautiful. That is how I really get into prayer. And now that we're kind of getting into it, I'd like for everyone to take a moment and actually face each other, greet somebody that you haven't met, greet somebody that you have met, and then we will all come back together in just a moment. All right. If we can all take our seats again. All right, so I'm gonna bring us into our next song, Lechado D, which is on page 20 of your seat door. Now that you've greeted each other in whatever way you like to greet each other, we now are going to greet the Sabbath bride with Lechado D. And I think we've done this version of Lechado D, but I'm not 100% sure. This is also the Nava Tequila. I like it because it works really well with this. And since I don't have a guitar today, I can use something musical besides my voice. So if anybody feels moved and wants to also grab a tambourine, I welcome you to do so. So there's some up here on the bench. It really is not just for kids, but kids, of course, are welcome to also, of course, grab a tambourine. Thank you, Charlene. So you'll see how the tambourine comes handy when we get to the chorus. The chorus is the verse right at the top of page 20. L'chado di likrad kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. All right, so I'll let everyone grab an instrument. By the way, we are going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Very good. Somebody's been paying attention. Oh, page 20. All right, and when we get to verse 9, we will all rise when we get there and we will face the door. All right, here we go. Page 20. Lechado di likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Yishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, v'shem tiferet, v'ritila, l'chadodi, l'chad kala, p'nei Shabbat. L'chamera, l'chadodi, l'chadkala, p'nei Shabbat, l'chamera, l'chad Shabbat, l'chu menucha, ki mikor habracha, merosh mikeder, Nesucha, Tov Ma'aseh, Shema Shema Tehillah, L'chadodi, L'katala, P'nei Shabbat, L'kavela, L'chadodi, Vikatala, Nishaba, Nikabela, verse 5, Itoreri, Kiva Ore, Kumi Uri, Tidaberi, Kivoranai, Alak Nigar, Lechadodi, Likatala, Nishaba, Nikavela, Lechadodi, Likatala, Nishaba, Nikavela, verse 9. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, ubetzohula, toch emunei, am segula, boi kala, lechadodi, likatala, Neshaba, Nekabela, Lechadodi, Likatala, Neshaba, Nekabela. All right, Yasher Koach to everybody. Thank you for that help. You can hold on to them as long as you promise to not use them until we get to the next song we use them. I trust you. I trust you. All right. So we are going to continue with the Chatzi Kaddish. And for that, Herman, I'm wondering if you can help lead our Chatzi Kaddish. Thank you, Herman. We are on page 26.
Yitkadal, v'yitkadal, Shemei Rabbah, v'yalmadi rakirote, v'yamlich malkute, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayet kol beit Yisrael, bagala, uv'zman karis, v'himeru, amen. Yesh me rabba mevorach le'alam ulam me'omaya yitporach v'yitchapak v'yipara v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yirhada v'yirhaleh v'yirhala shemei dechudesha berichu le'lam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bialma v'imeru. Amen.
Thank you, Herman. Thank you very much. Thank you, Yasher Koach. Invite you all now to rise. We are on page 28. And we are going to continue with the Baruch Hu. Yai gai yai gai gai gai. Yai gai 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 gai. Yai gai gai yai gai gai gai. Yai gai 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 gai. Barechu et Adonai. Hamevorach, Baruch Adonai Hamborach, You may be seated. And we continue on page 32. Please join me. Actually, I apologize, page 33. We're going to read the alternative on page 33, followed by the Chatima for Ahavat Olam. Please join me in English. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. If you're able, please rise again. We continue with Shema on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Evod Malechuto Leolam Vaed. Be seated. And I now invite up Camille and Ian Jaffe, who got B'nai Mitzvah a long time ago, but they're visiting here from Los Angeles and from Chicago and from Eugene. And so they're gonna lead us in Arba Hata. They're both got bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah here, confirmed here, and so we're glad to have them back. Be'ahavta is on page 36.
Be'ahavta Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavecha U'b'chol nafshecha U'b'chol meyodecha V'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Elohim etzavecha Hayom alecha Pinishinatam levanecha Edibarta bam Beshivtecha Bevetecha Uvlechtecha Avater Ushochlecha Uchumecha Ushartam leod Yadecha Vehayu letotafot Beinenecha Uvtavtam Al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kadoshim le'olechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hoseti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim L'hiot lachem l'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Yasher Koach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. All right, we are going to continue our service with Mi Chamocha, which is found on page 40. And I'm gonna bring another Rick Wreck tune into our service. So you heard a little bit of it with our Baruch Hu. I'll bring a little bit more now in with Mi Chamocha. Why do I want to bring Rick Wreck? Well, Rick Wreck was my music teacher growing up. He was literally my music teacher. I had the honor of being in his junior choir at my synagogue growing up. And so his music always sort of helped bring me into my love of Judaism. And so I like sharing his music with community whenever I can. So again, I'll say in 2 weeks, we might be bringing some other Rick Rec music, perhaps this song. So if you all come back, you'll then be here to help lead it. So I also guarantee everyone here has probably heard this Michamocha. Again, we're on page 40. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot. O say farewell. Let's do it again. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot. O say farewell. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot. O say farewell. I promise if you come back in 2 weeks, we will not just have my voice, but we'll have my voice, some guitar, some junior choir, some adult choir. So it'll sound a lot better, but just getting you excited for that. We're now going to continue with our Amidah, our standing prayer. I invite you all to rise and turn to page 46. The Amidah is really, for me, one of the hallmarks of our service. And it truly is a hallmark opportunity to really get into the spirit of gratitude. The spirit of gratitude really comes alive for me in this prayer, really, first and foremost, because this is a prayer that invites us not only to pray together as a kahal, but also to pray by ourselves, to say the prayer that is truly in our own hearts, to say the words of the prayers on the page as they echo or reverberate within our bodies and souls. This is the part of the prayer where we reach the height of our mountain of worship. So I'll invite you all, we'll join together for the first few blessings in this prayer. And when we get to the Kedusha on page 52, when we finish that, I'll invite you to continue silently through page 58. When you're finished with your prayer, either using the words on the prayer book or the words in your heart, you can be seated at that time. Again, we're on page 46. Anananananana Adonai. Ananana svatai tita. Ananana ufiagin. Ufiagin tehilateha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah El Hagadol Hagibor Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avod Ve'imahot Umevig Geula Livnei V'neihem B'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem Mechakel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Tomech Noflim Verofech Olim Umatir Hasurim Umekayem Emunato Mishene Afar Michamocha Ba'gevurot Umidomela Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanat Halechayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh Ukedoshim B'chol Yom Yehalelucha Selah Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. you all exceeded my expectations because I didn't make enough copies. So just gonna take a drink real quick, but I want to share another song with you. I learned a song back in rabbinical school by Danny Mossing. Anyone ever heard of him? Yeah. Danny, actually originally he is born in Israel to American parents, and he really composes some beautiful music. One of which is this song you'll find on your song sheet. It's called Modim Anachnu Lach. So if you turn in your Siddur to page 58, you'll notice that we have at the end of our Amidah, as we always do, Modim Anachnu Lach. What does it mean? It means we give thanks to you. So truly, the act of thanksgiving is, if it's at the end of our hallmark prayer of our service, the act of gratitude is key to all of our prayers. And so Thanksgiving is, of course, an American holiday, but at its core are many important Jewish values. And I think that Judaism just adds a nice flair to an already really important idea and holiday. So I'm going to teach you this song called Modim Anachnu Lach. It's very, I'm not good at explaining songs, but let me just say there's a part that repeats again, and I'm sure you will figure out what that part is. It's just Modim Anachnu Lach that's the chorus. So I have to think in terms of musical vocabulary, which usually I rely on the cantor to explain. So Modim Anachnu Lach, you'll see at the end of each section here, that's the chorus. So join me if you're able. If not, just look at the words and be thankful for all you have in your life. For the life you create each day, for the blessings of your love, for the light that you shine our way, for these many gifts we say, Modim Anachnu Lach, Modim Anachnu Lach, Modim. For each and every morning we give thanks. For the changing of the seasons we give thanks. For every dawn awakened, for each sunset we give thanks. Modim Anachnu Lach, Modim Anachnu Lach, Modim. For the waves that reach the shore we give thanks. For the beauty of the world we give thanks. For every cloud, for every ray of sunshine we give thanks. Modim Anachnu Lach, Modim Anachnu Lach, Modim, Modim, Modim. We give thanks. Hatov simcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Modim. That is Modim Anachnu Lach by Danny Mossing. So we are lost my sheet here. Give me a second. Oh, that's because it's on the back of this. We are going to continue with some words of Torah. And for that, I just need to place those. Here they are. I'm gonna come up here because I think the camera can still see me if I stand up here. But I believe it can. If I don't, if it isn't, I know my mom will give me a text and she will be upset. But so last Thanksgiving, I felt a glimmer of hope regarding the Israel-Hamas war. Israel and Hamas had agreed to a temporary ceasefire, which permitted the release of 50 Israeli hostages from Gaza and 150 Palestinian prisoners that were being held in Israel. Unfortunately, not only was the ceasefire short-lived, but Hezbollah's involvement in the war grew and grew until it became quite significant. That's why on this Thanksgiving, the announcement of a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah has renewed in me a sense of hope once again during the American season of gratitude. Perhaps the timing is merely a coincidence, but it certainly begs the question, what, if any, connection is there between gratitude and peace? Vayikra Rabbah 9:7, which is a midrashic teaching on the book of Leviticus, states that in the future, all sacrifices will cease, except for the Thanksgiving offering. By the way, this is the future that we all dream of. Bayom Hahu, that time, the time that we hope will come where the Messiah will come. From this idea that every offering except for the gratitude offering will cease, we learn that our need to recognize daily kindness, daily miracles, and the overall goodness of the world shown to us by our living God is key to the sustenance of peace. So the enduring peace, when it is established, hopefully in our day, in order to be sustained, it will require the recognition of all of our interconnectedness to one another, going beyond national bounds, race, or even religion. So our Torah portion this week told though, it continues telling a conflict that originated between Abraham, our founding father, and the Philistines. This time now as carried out by his son Isaac. What starts this whole conflict between the Abrahamic family and the Philistines? Well, it's truly a human struggle over one of the most basic natural resources of all. Anyone remember? Water, mayim. Just as God promises to be with Abraham, God tells Isaac not to worry, that God will be with him, and that he should not go down to Egypt during this period of famine. The Philistines also see that God remains with Abraham and Abraham's now descendant, Isaac, and his family, which allows them to very much prosper in the land, and the Philistines become envious. The Philistines stop up the wells that had been dug by Abraham, and they tell Isaac and his family to leave, that he and his family have become far too mighty. Isaac dug anew all the wells which had now been plugged up by the Philistines, which his father and his people had dug. He gives them the exact same names even that his father had given. But this time, when Isaac's servants who are digging in the wadi find a new well of spring water, the herdsmen of Gerar
they quarrel with Isaac's herdsmen, and they say, this here mine, this water, this is our water. And so this spring of water gets named Esek, which means contended with him. By the way, this Esek is a hapax legomenon, which means this word only appears once in the Torah. So just that alone draws my attention. So back to our Torah programming. When they dug another well, they disputed over that one as well. And this well, they named it Sitna. This word also, if I'm remembering correctly, I didn't write it down, also means something to do with conflict, although I'm forgetting the exact translation now. It's not a word that you would know just from knowing Hebrew, because it's really, I don't think it's a hapaxagomenon, but it is very uncommon. So from there, he moves and his people move and they dig yet another well, but this one was different. This well, no one quarreled over it. There was no strife when they reached this well. And it's a little bit further away from the main part of where the Philistines had been living. And so Isaac and his herdsmen, they named it Rehoboth, which means basically something wide, something that offers possibilities and the ability to actually increase and spread out in the land. I always remember this word because in Jerusalem, where I lived for a year, I lived in a part of Jerusalem called Rehavia. It's called Rehavia because the streets are very wide. So in the time after, Abimelech came to Isaac from Gerar with his men and his troops, and Isaac asked them, "Why have you come here to see me? Have you not already been hostile and driven me away from you?" And they said, "We now see that Adonai has been with you, and we thought, let us create a treaty between our two parties, between you and us. Let us make a pact with you that you will not do us harm, and we will not do harm unto you." So they make a pact, and from now on, they basically allow each other to be blessed until obviously time goes on, but we're not going there right now. So the idea of blessing and peace is made. Believe it or not, they do what people do and they make a pact. They have a feast. Hopefully they don't eat quite as much as I did last night. And early in the morning after their feast, they wake up, they exchange their shvuot, their oaths to each other, and Isaac bids them farewell. And the Torah says they departed from them ba shalom, in peace. Didn't make this up. This is in our Torah portion this week. And this year, I paid attention to this part of the Torah. Normally, it's kind of one of the narratives that slips away from me. I usually focus more on the other stories in this portion about Isaac and Rebekah having Jacob and Esau, which comes right before this. This time, I found value in this part because I believe that in this part of the Torah, we get the timeless value of what enduring peace and the relationships among human beings in the world is all about. Number one, what I take from this message in our Torah is persistence. We cannot give up on the hope of peace. So how do I get to this? There is a rabbi named Rabbi Francis Nataf who shares the following that really shed some light for me on this portion. So what he says is Isaac's attitude toward the world is highlighted by comparing his manner of dealing with human conflict with that of his father, Abraham, and then later his son, Jacob. In his book, Redeeming Relevance, Rabbi Natov teaches us the important lesson about the parallel stories between Abraham and Isaac's conflict, again, with the Philistines and the control of water. Abraham does not shy away from rebuking the king of the Philistines, Abimelech, back in Genesis chapter 21. In contrast, it seems fair to infer that Isaac relies on the hope that eventually God will step in, and he therefore directs his followers to continue digging wells until eventually what happens on that last well? The local inhabitants, they leave them alone. There was no quarreling, so they named it Rehoboth. So while Isaac does not question Abimelech about his people's attitude toward Isaac, and he doesn't mention the conflict that they had over the wells when they, come to that sort of reuniting. He doesn't even mention the fact that they were literally asked to leave. That's not Isaac's goal here. His goal is different. He is looking for some enduring peace, and he doesn't want to give up on it. So number 2, peace requires all humanity to have a place in the world. So how do I get to that number? From another commentary I found called Covenant and Conversation, Family Edition, I read that in Genesis chapter 21, we read about an argument that arose over, again, the well-known father Abraham and the Philistines. And the commentary says, again, they remind us that Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized. The two men make a treaty. Unfortunately, the treaty wasn't sufficient to prevent further difficulties for eventually Isaac, his son. Isaac and his people, they get rich, and there's envy of the Philistines. Again, we know this. The wells are filled up by the Philistines, and Abimelech says to leave. This is the summary. So Isaac leads, ends up in the Gerar, like we already learned, reopens the well that his father had dug, renames 2 of them, and then names a third. The third one, Rehovot. Now that God has given us the ability to flourish in this land, to have space, here the Torah is teaching us to see that the world is actually large enough for all of us to coexist and prosper, that it is a possible scenario. Now, the Talmud has a really important teaching in Tractate Brachot. Rabbi Hanina, one of our teachers, says, one who sees a well in a dream sees peace. As it is said, and Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of living waters. And ultimately, there was peace. That from our Torah portion today. Rabbi Natan says, one who sees a well in his dream, it is a symbol that he has found Torah, as the well symbolizes Torah. As I reflect on the Torah's imperative to be Rodfei Shalom, seekers of peace, through the use of water, I am reminded of the way water is being used today as a tool to work towards peace in the Middle East. Has anyone heard of the Arava Institute? Great. Well, then I'm going to teach you something else. It's an amazing organization based out of Israel called the Arava Institute. It was founded in 1996 in the wake of the Oslo agreements in an academic and research center for environmental leadership in the Middle East. The Arava Institute for Environmental Studies seeks to provide the Middle East with a new generation of sophisticated professionals that will meet the region's environmental challenges with richer and more innovative peace-building solutions. So listen to this. This is the mission statement of the Arava Institute. Their mission is to advance cross-border environmental cooperation in the face of political conflict. This is to ensure the shared environmental resources of the region will be protected from further degradation and loss. Scarce environmental resources will no longer be a source of conflict. Environmental cooperation will become a model for cross-border cooperation in all other areas of the conflict. This year, in fact, this organization was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And the prize is for groundbreaking work in the fields of dialogue and diplomacy, I don't know why I can't speak, climate engagement, education, and research. It's really cool. I encourage you to go on their website and look at some of the projects that they are working on, because truly, our world knows no borders. Our world goes beyond that. We all share the same resources, and we always will. So this is my hope. May we follow in the footsteps of our ancestors, remaining committed and persistent to bring about a world of peace. May we do our part to recognize that enduring peace requires us to distance ourselves from contention whenever possible, and instead to ask ourselves and others to create space so that we may all have the ability to flourish harmoniously in our neighborhoods, in our cities, states, and countries, and in the entire world. Kain Yehi Ratzon. May this be the will of our Torah, our people, and us today. Amen. So with that, I want to join together for a prayer for the state of Israel. You can join me on page 259. Is there anyone that feels moved to actually help lead this so I can give my voice a rest? Anybody feel? I can actually bring you the microphone. You don't even have to come up. Charlene? Okay, awesome. So again, we're on page 259. It's 259. Sorry, bottom of the page. Oh, you come up? Okay. Great.
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise. Guide them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. It's a good one,
Thank you.
huh?
And we certainly know how to sing about peace So let's conclude this section of our service by singing Ose Shalom. Turn this off. Ose Shalom Bimroma. Ase Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Vehimru, amen. We also want to take a moment to pray for those who are in need of healing today. So if you're in need of healing, I invite you when we get to the middle of our Misha Berach to include the names of those who may be in need of healing, healing of the body, healing of the spirit, healing of the mind. Misha Berach is found on page 253. So just go back a few pages. Please join me in singing. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Ve'imotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Ira Waldman, Victor Namias, Barry Howard, Lorraine Alfire, and Danielle Evans. Indira Arnold, Maureen Arnold, Diane Reynolds. Deborah McLaughlin. Steve Pine, Barry Hallworth, Robert Stanley Davis, Claire Bennett.
Daniel Cloud, Layla family, Eden family, Erica Nancy, Isaac MCU.
Misha Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. It's now my honor to invite up our board representatives today, Sarah Fields, for some announcements. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Anybody here for the first time? Great, welcome. Okay. And glad to see you. I know this is not the time that a lot of people come out because it's a busy weekend. People are traveling or have families, so appreciate you being here. Okay. Let me get my notes. Okay, I had my notes. I had it in my camera. Let's see, where are we? A little bit too much technology here. No, that's not it. Okay. Well, there's a few things going on at the temple, and I will try to ad lib as much as I can. First of all, Rabbi mentioned his installation December 13th. That's going to be a wonderful event, and there is a dinner. So you're asked to RSVP. All the information is on the e-news. We have a scholar in residence coming. Do you remember the dates, Rabbi?
Well, it's the same, the scholar residence.
It's going to be there that same time.
Rabbi,
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Also, the Sisterhood has an annual Hanukkah boutique that's going to be on December 8th. So that should be a good time to pick up things like candles, little odds and ends gifts for people. So I'm going to remind you about that as well. And is there anything I forgot? What's coming up?
There's the 4th grade family Shabbat service next Friday.
Oh, great. Okay, so come next Friday and see all, I always enjoy the family Shabbats, especially beyond the kindergarten age. Although those are funny in their own way, they're really enjoyable.
We do have a junior choir now, so it's something we haven't had probably in 10 years.
Okay,
So it's
great.
new, and this will be their second concert next Friday, so.
And I believe next Friday the choir is going to be singing too. So maybe they're not, maybe
Oh,
not.
on which day?
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think
sure.
On the 13th.
On the 13th,
Yeah.
the choir will be singing. So
Yeah.
that's always enjoyable. So I'm sorry, I really messed up. I couldn't find my notes. I should have written down, gone old school. But it's always good. I welcome all of you. I'm glad you're all here.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Rabbi.
All right, we now are going to begin to conclude our service with Aleinu, which can be found on page 282. I invite all who are able to please rise.
Aleinu v'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, v'atei gedula v'yotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu k'gei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam. Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz vayom hahu Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. You may be seated.
This time in our service, we remember those who are no longer with us. This week at Temple Akiba, we're remembering the following names who are being remembered for a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days following the burial. Charles Zlatkoff, Eileen Snidman. The following, oh, actually, let me pause there. Are there any other names for Shloshim, first 30 days?
I don't know their 4 young people, sophomores, in college, 3 of whom, they all went to my high school and they graduated in 2023. Car accident, one person was pulled from the accident and is a survivor, but the other 3 perished in a conflagration. And so I'd like to offer their thoughts of them and refuah shlema to the survivor and to all of their families.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you.
Rabbi, speak in a Dubai Shabbat.
So we now remember the following names who have yard site plaques and yard sites this week. The yard site plaques located in the Sue and Jerry Erfrig Memorial Room. James Barber, Geraldine Glazer, Alexandra Horwitz, Frank Levitin, Bernard Newman, Harry Prince. We also remember the following yard sites this week. Morris Antipole, Bertram Balsam, Francis Bregman, Robert Konsoff, Jose Cueva, Israel Gold, Frederick Hauptmann, Leo Kalan, Scott Kantrowitz, Edith Kaplan, Celia Katz, Jack Hornberg, Florence Leibovitz, Ruben Marmolewski, Hilda Michaels, Ethel Moskowitz, Emma Perlman, Bess Poisner, Eugene Prowiser, Regina Ritter, Dorothy Ruth, Gil Salka, Harvey Seaton, Lee Sherman Jr., Edward Tobin, Jeanette Violin, Sarah Mastrovici Vidovivos. Are there any other names that you would like to bring into our kahal for a yard site this week? So I invite us now all to rise as one community and join together in Mourner's Kaddish. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 294. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, be'ama divrach chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye decho beit Yisrael, Bagala uvizman kari ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach ve'olam u'ameo maya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh. Ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min chol birchata ve'shirata. Tushbechata ve'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya. Ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who are mourning, to all who are bereaved, and let us say, man, be seated once more. I did think of one more announcement, actually, that there is no Torah study tomorrow anywhere. Sorry, I don't mean anywhere. There probably are other Torah studies. I meant anywhere by not on Zoom here and not in person. So we are not having Torah study tomorrow here at Temple Akiva. I want to end with another song. You'll find it on your song sheet. If I can find my copy here. Here we go. Has anyone ever heard of this folk song, Peace Like a River? No? Okay. It's a folk song, and you'll probably recognize it, but this rabbinic student at RRC, the Reconstructionist Rabbinic College, Koach Baruch Frazier, took this song and sort of combined it with Sim Shalom, which is our song for peace that we use at the end of the Amidah in the morning. So I thought it would be nice to sort of end with this song for its way of sort of taking the theme of peace and water together as a whole. So it goes like this. I'm going to try my best. Peace like a river, I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. And it flows like a river, it flows like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Sim shalom tova, tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova, tova uvracha. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. And it flows like a river, and it flows like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Sim shalom tova, tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. And it flows like a river, and it flows like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Beautiful. Thank you all again for indulging me in a special service of peace and Thanksgiving and just the beauty of community today. I really appreciate all of you who helped to make our service special, especially those of you that came and actually participated up on the bima. Yeah, all of my gratitude to you. We'll have our own egg in just a moment, but first, of course, we say hamotzi. So we unwrap our challah. I was gonna ask the younger kids to help us with this, but they disappeared. Are they here? Okay, all right. So we'll give them a moment to have their part. They can use a tambourine if they want. No, you can keep the dapim. They're yours. If you don't want them, you're welcome to put them back up there, but please feel free to take them back. You will give them another minute, and if not, we'll just do our motzi. All right, I think we'll go ahead and, oh, here they are. Okay, wonderful. All right. Yeah, come on up. Can one of you hold the challah, please? All right, awesome. All right. Do you all know the song? Okay, well, I'll do it with you then. You do? Okay, great. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, te'avon. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. You guys can take a bite.